I used to believe betrayal was something that happened to other people. Tragic stories whispered about neighbors or strangers online. Never me, never us. My wife was my anchor, my safe place. Or at least, that's what I thought. When she returned from her trip, she carried more than just her suitcase. She carried a secret that would gut me from the inside out. At first, I noticed the distance in her eyes, the way her touch felt colder, her silence heavier. Then came the truth I could never prepare for. She wasn't just pregnant. She was carrying another man's child, her best friend's husband. That was the day my life cracked open. Before everything fell apart, I thought I had the kind of marriage people envied. My wife and I had built a life together, small, imperfect, but ours. We laughed at little things, shared late-night talks, and made promises that felt unbreakable. She was more than my partner. She was my best friend, my confidant, the one I trusted when the world felt cruel. Her best friend, Claire, was part of that world too. They had known each other since childhood, and their bond was unshakably, or so I believed. Claire was married as well, and her husband Daniel was someone I barely paid attention to. He was polite, distant, and always seemed to linger in the background. I never thought much of him, never saw him as a threat. Why would I? He was just her best friend's husband. So when my wife said she was going on a short trip with Claire, I didn't hesitate. I encouraged her, told her she deserved the break. I stayed behind, convincing myself it was just a harmless getaway between two friends. I had no reason to doubt, no cracks in my trust. But now, looking back, I replay every detail I overlooked. The way she hesitated before telling me about the trip. The way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes when she left. The way my chest felt strangely heavy watching her walk out the door. Like my instincts were whispering a warning I refused to hear. At the time, though, I brushed it all off. I kissed her goodbye, wished her well, and trusted her completely. That was my first mistake. Trusting too much, believing too deeply. Because when she came back, nothing about her was the same, and neither was I when she first returned from that trip. I wanted to believe everything was normal. She hugged me, smiled, and unpacked her suitcase, as if nothing had changed. But something in her was different. Her laughter didn't sound the same. Her hugs felt shorter, less certain. She spent more time in silence, staring at her phone, or slipping away into another room. I told myself I was imagining it, that travel fatigue had worn her out. But the truth was, a quiet storm was already brewing inside me, whispering that something was terribly wrong. Nights became colder. I'd roll over in bed, reaching for her warmth, but she'd already be turned away, eyes closed, body stiff. She avoided my touch, and I couldn't understand why. My heart tried to rationalize its stress, exhaustion, maybe even an argument I didn't realize we'd had. But my gut knew better. My gut knew I was losing her. And then came the first crack in the illusion. One night, I walked past the bathroom door and heard her retching. At first I panicked. Was she sick? Food poisoning, maybe. But when I rushed in to help, she waved me off, her eyes wide, defensive, almost guilty. I froze at the way she looked at me, like I was intruding on something private. The days that followed only made things worse. She started wearing looser clothes, skipping meals, and avoiding wine at dinner. It hit me all at once. The weight she had gained, the glow in her cheeks. The way she held her stomach absent-mindedly when she thought I wasn't looking. Pregnant. The word slammed into me like a car crash. My mind spun in circles, trying to make sense of it. We hadn't been close in weeks, maybe even months before her trip. And now, she was pregnant. My heart raced with denial. It has to be mine. It must be mine. But deep down, in the part of me that feared the truth, I already knew. I asked her one night, my voice trembling, "Are you pregnant?" She froze. Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence between us was louder than any confession. And in that silence, my world began to unravel. Days later, the truth came crashing down. I found messages on her phone hidden, locked, but not well enough. A trail of words between her and Daniel, the husband of her best friend. The man I had never once seen as a threat. Their messages weren't just flirty, they were damning. Plans, desires, secrets, and finally, confirmation of the unthinkable. She wasn't just pregnant. She was carrying his child. I remember staring at the screen, my hands trembling so violently I nearly dropped the phone. Every word cut through me like a blade. Betrayal from the woman I loved. Betrayal from the friend I had trusted by association. A double wound, bleeding me dry. I confronted her with the phone in my hand, but the truth was already written on her face. The guilt in her eyes told me everything. She didn't even try to deny it. She just stood there, frozen, as if her silence would hurt less than her words. But it didn't. It destroyed me. The moment stretched like an eternity, her standing there, silent, guilty, unable to meet my eyes, and me holding the phone like it was a weapon that had just ended my life. My chest burned, my throat tightened, and I couldn't even find the strength to scream. Inside, I was collapsing. Every memory of us, our wedding vows, the nights we held each other, the dreams we built flashed through my mind, now tainted, poisoned. I wanted to ask why. I wanted to ask, how could you? But the words turned to ashes before they left my mouth. My mind screamed louder than any voice ever could. Was I not enough? Was every smile, every kiss, a lie? Did you plan this? Did you laugh at me behind my back while he touched you? I stared at her stomach, at the life growing inside her, and it felt like staring at a grave. The death of my marriage, the death of my trust, the death of everything I thought I was. And what cut deepest wasn't just her betrayal, it was who she betrayed me with. Daniel, a man I'd welcomed into my home. A man I'd never suspected. I had lost my wife, but I had also lost faith in the very idea of friendship, of loyalty. For a moment, I thought about rage, about tearing everything apart, about making them both pay. But then the rage collapsed into something worse, emptiness. I stood there, hollow, listening to the sound of my own heart breaking. She tried to speak, her lips trembling, but all I saw was a stranger. The woman I loved was gone, and in her place was someone I couldn't recognize. Someone capable of shattering me without a single word. And in that silence, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. The days that followed felt like I was wandering through the ruins of my own life. Everywhere I turned, there were reminders of what used to be our photos on the wall. The empty spot beside me in bed, the echoes of laughter that no longer belonged to us. I couldn't escape it. Betrayal wasn't just a wound. It was a shadow that clung to everything I touched. I kept asking myself the same questions on repeat. Was there something I missed? Could I have stopped it? Was I blind, or just foolishly in love? But no matter how many times I turned it over in my head, the answers never came. All I was left with was silence, and pain. I didn't recognize myself anymore. I wasn't the man who believed in loyalty, in love, in the sanctity of marriage. That man died the moment I learned the truth. What lived on was someone harder, colder, carrying scars that no one could see. My wife tried to reach out, but what could she possibly say? I'm sorry. Sorry couldn't erase the image of her carrying another man's child. Sorry couldn't undo the fact that the man was her best friend's husband. Two betrayals woven into one nightmare I could never wake from. So I walked away. Not just from her, but from the life we had built. Because sometimes the only way to survive is to let the fire consume everything, and walk out of the ashes alone. But even now, I wonder, what does betrayal do to a soul? Does it harden us forever, or does it prepare us for something greater? I don't have the answer yet. Maybe I never will. What I do know is this. Love can heal, but it can also destroy. And the scars left by betrayal, they never truly fade. So I'll ask you, the one listening to my story. If the person you loved most shattered your heart in the cruelest way imaginable, would you ever be able to forgive? Or would you carry that wound with you for the rest of your life?